Hey, and welcome to Fit Me Turo Fitness Podcast, a podcast for people who want to get no BS information about fitness and know that fitness is about so much more than losing scale weight. It's about feeling confident in your skin and empowered in your life. I'm your host, Turo Virta, personal trainer, strength and nutrition coach, and most of all, a husband of my beautiful wife, Miriam. Each week, my guests and me will give you some no BS fitness tips and motivate you to take action in your own personal fitness journey as we talk about nutrition, exercise, mindset, personal development, and executing in life with enjoyable but still effective strategies. If your goal is to look better, feel and be strong and experience transformation from inside out, you, my friend, are in the right place. Thank you for jumping in, and now let's jump into today's episode. Hey, and welcome back to the podcast. Today, I want to talk something a little bit deeper than just calories. It's not about protein, not about carbs, not fat loss strategies, because I want to talk about trust. Specifically, why so many people don't trust themselves with food anymore. Because here is what I see all the time. People know what to eat. They have read the books, they have tried the plans, they have tracked calories, they have done keto, low carb, low fat, fasting, all dates, all diets, what has some name attacked. So information is not the problem in 2026 anymore. The problem is trust. So, but why? How did that then happen that we lost that trust? So most people didn't wake up one day and decide to mistrust themselves. It happened all slowly because of years of dieting, years of good and bad foods, years of starting over on Mondays, years of feeling guilty after eating. And over time, you stop listening to hunger. You stop listening to fullness. You stop listening to your body. And instead, you listen to rules. And when the rules break, you don't blame the rule. You blame yourself. And that's where trust starts to disappear. And that is something like if you think that I have had so many people when this actually happened, and I want to share one example of Sylvia, who she was very accurate with tracking, and she could tell me exactly how many calories were in everything, and she knew all the macros better than most trainers and better than myself for sure. And but everything she felt like she had no more control. Not because she didn't know what to do, but because she had been restricting all day. And the moment stress was hitting her, the structure collapsed. So that was a moment when she realized that it's not all about rules, all about tracking calories. So because what do you think when you think that it's kind of all in or nothing mindset? What is actually causing that damage? Because so many people think that the problem is lack of discipline, but often the real problem is extreme control. So when you restrict hard, you create rebound. When you label food as off limits, you increase the desire. So if you really think it, when you try to eat perfectly all day, evenings more often than not become a chaos. And then what happens? In most cases, you will overeat, you will feel guilt, you promise to be stricter tomorrow for yourself. And every cycle, you repeat this it reduces your self-trust, because now your brain is telling that you can't handle that freedom. You need more rules, but more rules are actually what cause the problem. So that is the problem with all those rules. They are, in some cases, they are helping, but more often than not, more rules are what are actually causing the problem. So then was then was I have to say I'm a big believer of tracking, not because that it's the perfect way of doing it, and I'm also the one who doesn't. For most people, I believe that you shouldn't be tracking your food all the time. And the reason why I believe like it's there, I know I have worked with many people that some people say that tracking helps. It's the only way that you are creating rules, or you are creating that you know what you are actually doing, and it's very true. And it's, for some people it works very well, even in the long term, that they rather track their food so they know exactly what is their like kind of budget. You have your budget, and this you are allowing to, like, if you think it in a money, you are allowing yourself to spend this much money, that you are not going over your budget, or and it's helpful. But if you are all the time, if you become obsessed with that, it takes away also from that freedom, enjoyment, and what I believe that it's very, very important to be able to actually truly enjoy also life moments. Because if you are in a birthday party and you are thinking that, oh, can I eat that cake because I have 150 calories left, but this slice of cake is 250, so I would go 100 calories over my budget. And that is the situation where you shouldn't be tracking. But at some point, you have to look what are your daily habits, and if you have some kind of rules in a place, but which also allows you to have a freedom. So why then that tracking is not the enemy? Because this is something very, very important. Because the tracking is not the enemy. So because many people are thinking like that, if I track, I'm controlling everything. And but there is a, like I said, there is a big difference between control and awareness. And tracking can actually rebuild that trust if you are using it correctly. It's not to punish yourself, it's not to restrict harder, but to observe, to understand how much you are actually eating and where those calories are adding up and how your hunger feels. When tracking becomes data instead of judgment, trust slowly comes back. So this is very, very important, because it should be just the data. Like when you are looking your average steps per month, it's you see that, okay, this is data. If you look, it's the same way. Whatever you are tracking, it should be in a long term. You are looking averages, and instead of focusing, like, of course it's important to focus on those daily values, but not to get too obsessed with them. Then you are seeing, because what matters is that long term process, long term what is happening in the long term, and not even those daily wins are important, but it doesn't mean that one day is if you one day you go over your calories, you didn't hit your step goal, that whole month is ruined, that you need to start over. So it's more like, or scale weight is the same thing. If you think that, so all of a sudden I gained 2 kilos overnight, that now I lost everything. No, it's one data point in the long term. And if you look like how the way, for example, how I do it myself with my weight, I find it very, very valuable to look my weight, wake myself every single day, but I'm not interested on daily values. What I'm interested is on weekly average, weight, monthly average weight, and it just creates awareness for myself. Like, because even at the moment, my goal is not to lose weight, gain muscle. I'm happily maintaining. And that is where my maturity part of my life feels that this is like I have freedom, but also at the same time, I see that when there is a trend I don't like my average weight is going up a couple 100 grams per week or even more in some points, then it creates awareness that, oh, now trend is not where I want it to be. And then it's time to change my actions and what I'm actually doing. So, because more often than not, that weight is not going to, it's not jumping all of a sudden in 1 week. You gain that 2 weeks, what might be 1 day difference, but average weight is not, you are not on average gaining 2 kilos every single day because it goes up and down, as you know. So, but it's just a great way to see trends where you are going and especially recognize that when there is something like I was out of my own routines when I was at the Olympics. And of course, I was looking like my long-term data when I came back. Of course, I gained a little bit weight and I started to think that, okay, what was their difference? Like food was actually very healthy. There was just a lot of it. And buffet eating every day, so many delicious choices. So I was eating for sure more than I would eat at home. I was eating maybe more, or for sure more calories than I would eat at home. And at the same time, my average steps, I wasn't as active as I'm at home because the reason was that I'm not used to it. I'm at home, I'm walking, uh, I have average 14, 15,000 steps per day. And during that time, I had maybe 8,000, so almost half, because we were all transportations. You were sitting in a bus as a trainer. You are watching the games. You are sitting. There was that daily movement was missing, and at the same time, you eat a little bit more. Even I could get my own workout some in, but the daily movement was missing. Sleep wasn't the best possible, as not sleeping at home. Going to sleep different times, not always at the same time as home. So there were many small things that wasn't as they usually are. And that caused that, of course, you gain weight. And now when I'm back, I'm thinking that, okay, now it's time to get back to routine. I'm not doing anything dramatic, but just getting back to my routine and maybe being a little bit stricter, learning to say no for every dessert, like not every time saying yes. So thinking that, okay, some point I have to take like that. Usually I love to eat every single day something sweet, and now it's maybe every other day. So with these small actions, I know that this what I gained during the last month, it will be all all gone within a couple months, and I don't need to starve myself or do anything special. Just getting back to my routine, and this is another story. Uh, was one client, Ina. We worked a couple of years back. I still remember it vividly when because she was so afraid to track because it felt obsessive. But then when she was using the tracking as awareness, that changed everything. Because she said that tracking makes me feel that I'm controlled. And but when we started the tracking without judgment, just observing, she realized something very important. She wasn't overeating because she lacked discipline. She was undereating protein earlier in the day. And that small awareness changed everything because it often, like, especially if you are hungry later in the day, usually in the afternoon or evening, you feel like that you could, when you, for example, many clients who tell me that they come home from work and they haven't been eating a lot, and then they are like that they could eat everything you have in a fridge. So it's by far the most common reason is that you are under eating protein or fiber. And then when you are just tracking it with just observing, not to be obsessed with all calories, but just looking, for example, just tracking your protein intake. How much protein have you been eating? And that is what makes you aware, like Ina was oh, this was the reason. Like now when I focus on like that, you started to feel it right away, that the difference between the days that she was close to her protein goal or the days that you had like that, oh, if I look back and think I barely ate some protein. So those are just a small things what really makes you aware of things, what is actually why everything, because there is a reason why these things are happening, and it's not about your discipline or willpower. It's often just the simple things you are not aware. And and why then that hunger is feeling so confusing? Because another reason that people don't trust themselves is because hunger feels unpredictable. So this is especially for women over 35, because hormones are changing, stress is often increasing, sleep is decreasing, and hunger becomes just louder. So many people think that, oh, my body is broken, but more often than not, it's not broken. It's your body is just stressed. It's under recovered. It's underfed, and or it's been dieted for too long. And when the body doesn't feel safe, it pushes for more food, and that's not the weakness. It's just the biology. So what is then, if you think that uh, control versus structure? Because here is a distinction I want you to think about. So control is telling you that I must be perfect, and structure is saying I will follow a plan that supports me. And control is rigid. Structure is stable. Control breaks under stress, and structure bends and continues. So many people don't need more control. They need actually more structure. For example, it's a structure for your meals. For example, 3 real meals per day. For most people, that is a breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And for many people, it means that in all meals, you have some source of protein. You have planned snacks that you know already what you are doing, and not just opening your fridge and looking what you have, or in if you open anything what you have at home and you feel like that, oh, now I can eat my fridge empty. So it also structure means that it's realistic portions. So it's very simple, it's very repeatable, and it's stable. So, and that is when you have that structure, that is what builds trust. So how you can then rebuild that food trust? Because the rebuilding trust, it takes some time. It doesn't happen in 1 week. And here are some steps I love to use when we work together with my clients. So step number one is that you have to stop extreme restriction. So that is the key part. So that it doesn't, in the long term, those extreme restrictions, they work in short term. If you think that you need to, it builds maybe willpower for a short while, it but it doesn't bring you in the long term any results. It's in a short term, very good strategy, but in the long term, it does actually, I believe it does more harm than actually good. Like, as I said, it might show yourself, you might feel proud of yourself that you are able to do, you have that discipline, you have that willpower to follow extreme restriction rules for a short moment. But it's, if those rules what you make to yourself, if you don't feel that you can follow these rules years from now, it's not if you can maintain it, it's matter of time before you break those rules. And after breaking those rules, how you're gonna feel about yourself. Then next step, what I love to use my clients is adding structure before removing foods. So structure means those what I talked earlier: 3 meals, protein in each meal, planning your snacks, having realistic portions, for example. Then number 3 is tracking for awareness, not for punishment. And if you can't track all foods you are eating, you could be starting only with your protein. And this is what I personally love to do. Not that it's the only or the best way to do it, but it just helps me and for many of my clients. So you know that you have your protein goal, how much protein you should be eating. And that is, if you don't know, it's 1.6. I personally prefer what studies are telling, it's 1.6 to 2 grams, 2.2 grams per kilo body weight, or your goal body weight. So I like to then, depending on your goals, but even that lower, like 1.5, 1.6 grams per your current body weight. So for example, I weigh around 90 kilos. I aim for 150 grams every single day protein, and I make sure that I try to hit that goal every single day. And it's just for awareness. It's not punishment, or I'm not too obsessed. If, because of course there will be days that I don't hit my protein goal, but it's just to be aware what is actually happening. And then next step is to strength train consistently. And this is the game changer. At least it has been for me. I didn't do it. I thought that it's not important, or I don't need to do it. But now when I have been, because my mindset was kind of bit all or nothing in this, but now it's all about getting started 2 times per week. And what I love, for example, what have been really motivating me for this is in my workout app, you can set your strength train goals. And of course, there is a step goals, there is a cardio goals per week, weekly strength train goals. And for me, I personally is 2 times per week and 10 sets of exercises. So it means that if I do 5 exercises, 2 sets each, or you can do 3 exercises, 3 sets, 1 exercise, just the 1 set. So you get your 10 sets, working sets per workout, and that 2 times per week. And hitting that is, I need 15, 20 minutes to do that bare minimum. And of course, then often when I get started, I might be doing something more, but it's just so motivating that when my workout app, there is coming signs that you have hit your weekly strength goal, and that consistency matters a lot more than actually trying to do it perfectly for a couple of weeks, then getting off track for next week's or next month's. And that is, consistency matters a lot more than actually doing following a perfect plan for a short time. So consistently, strength training consistently, it's so crucial, especially someone over 35. And last step, what I would like to add in this list is to sleep more than you think you need. So it's sleep is so crucial because it basically everything starts your recovery. You can train more. You are eating less. There are so many studies showing this that you are actually, if you are undersleeping, you will eat more than you need because it increases your cravings. And still, these are the steps, but the most important is that to keep promises to yourself. So whatever you promise, so if you think that, oh, this is here were those are all good things, but at the moment I'm not doing anything of them, don't start with everything. And just pick one, two, not more than three things at a time. Practice those. Make your promises so small that you can keep them, because that starts building that self-trust that you are actually able to keep promises what you make to yourself. And if you can't keep promises what you make to yourself, then it's time to make your promises smaller, because you don't. The worst thing what you can say yourself that I'll be perfect forever, and of course that is not going to happen. And instead, if you can say that I will follow this plan today, and when you keep those small promises, your trust is growing. So why then this matters all for fat loss? And because that fat loss without self-trust doesn't last, because once stress hits, old patterns return, and that is often a matter of time. And if you don't trust yourself around food, you will always feel one step away from losing control. But when trust builds, even if you overeat one day, you don't panic, you don't spiral, you adjust calmly. And that's maturity, that's stability, and that's long-term success. So what I have seen over and over working with my clients, my clients don't need more knowledge. Most of them, what they actually need is stability, repetition, safety, and realistic expectations. The goal is not to control food. The goal is to feel calm about it, around it. And it's for me, I I have to tell a quick story about my what I when I have been doing this now for over 10 years. And when I started, of course, in the beginning I thought that this is very simple. You first time as a coach, you started to learn a little bit about calories, tracking, doing experiments for yourself, and it was it was I was like at this time when now we are beginning of March, and it's usually here in Italy it's like a kind of carnival time was just a couple of weeks ago, and after that you start like some fasting time. And I was very keen, like many of my clients did, like that. Okay, now it's fasting time, it means no sugar, no alcohol, no life, nothing. And I was like, oh, this is a great idea. I eat definitely too much sugar, and I thought that it's a very good idea to go without sugar. And I did it, 30-day challenge without sugar. And of course, I felt I was able to do it. I felt so proud of myself. And of course, I got even some results. I lost scale weight. I was like, wow, this feels amazing. This is a great thing to do. And then 30 days were over. And what happened? I was like, now I finally can eat some sugar, and having some cake. And first it was, on the other hand, it was a great experiment, because I realized that, okay, I didn't, in the beginning, it was very hard to be without sugar. I had a cravings, but the longer I was, then later, like even eating an apple, it felt almost too sweet because you are not used to anymore for sugars. And when I did it, when I finished the challenge, I was like, okay, now I can eat some sweets. And first time I was eating some sugar, it felt like that. Oh, now this is almost too sweet. And but then of course that now I finally can eat some sugar. And then of course I was eating way too much. And probably within next 2 months, I was eating more sugar than. And if I look with including that month when I was without sugar, plus next 2 months when I was finally allowed to eat sugar, I was probably eating at least same amount of sugar in those 3 months than with restriction for first month than I would be eating without that restriction, because it felt like kind of that now when I don't have that rule anymore, I made it, I can eat it. And then what happened is then it was that overeating, or when maybe you have tried some extreme diet and you have had those extreme rules that there is no carbs, and then you are breaking those rules, and then you are like that, fuck it, whatever, I ruined it anyway, so now it doesn't matter. And then you go that you are eating way too much because you think that I fucked it anyway, so what's the point? And or maybe you tell to yourself that I get back on track on Monday or next day, so now I still eat it when I can, or it doesn't matter anymore at this point. And those are kind of things that does create more harm than good. So that was just what matters in more is that your body it responds a lot better to consistency than punishment. And this is just that. Just that those extreme rules, why this is my personal example, and the way how I felt like that it's actually creating in long term more harm than good. Even the results within those first 30 days were obviously amazing. I felt good, got some results, but in the long term, if I look back, actually the only thing what I gained from that experiment was that feeling that, I'm able to do. I have power, discipline, willpower to do those things, but in the long term, it didn't bring any results except that feeling that, wow, I can do it. So I want to close this episode with just a couple of words that if you don't trust yourself with your food right now, it means that you are not broken. You have probably just been dieting too hard for too long. So really, it might go against everything you have believed until now, but start small. Add structure, remove extremes, and keep simple promises. Trust comes back slowly, and when it does, everything becomes easier. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want help rebuilding trust instead of chasing another extreme plan, you know where to find me. Thank you for listening, and talk to you soon.
Hold up, friend. Do you love Fit Me Turo Fitness podcast? If so, the best way to say thank you is to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review on iTunes. I know every podcaster wants you to leave a review, but it's because those reviews help the podcast to reach more people. I truly want to know what you think, and if this particular episode resonated with you, would you also please share it? Either send a link to someone who you think will find it valuable, or take a screenshot and post it into your social media and tell your friends and family why they should listen it. Make sure you tag me so I can hear your feedback and give you a little love. And if you aren't already following me on Instagram or TikTok, that's the perfect time to hit that follow button. Thank you for being here and listening to Fit Me Turo Fitness podcast.